All right, boys and girls, we'll start the show in just a minute. Appreciate all y'all tuning in. Just about another minute out here to finish getting set up, and we'll be good to go. And remember, do not pull up. Do not wait. Let's go.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. 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 Clap your hands, clap, clap, clap. Stomp your feet, stomp, stomp, stomp. Spin around, spin, spin, spin. All right. Good morning, good morning, good morning. 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 Wash your hands, wash, wash, wash. Shake your hands, shake, shake, shake. Brush your teeth, brush, brush, brush. All right. Good morning.
Good morning. Morning and that. Yeah, good morning. It's Uncle Lou here. Yeah, that's right. It's me, Uncle Lou, live for you on YouTube today. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it also. And in addition to that as well, guess what? This is the morning show with Uncle Lou and BVD. That's right. He'll be joining us momentarily. And you're in luck because we do this show 3 days a week, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at approximately 8 or so. This is YouTube's longest running morning show that's done by two college football YouTubers, but the show is not about college football. Yep. So appreciate you guys tuning in. But yeah, we do this every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 a.m. Me and BVD regale you with tales from the stupid. We have guests on. You guys know the routine. We got Ruben T coming on this morning here in a little bit, so we'll add him to the conversation here coming up in a few minutes. Yeah, good morning, BVD.
Hey, good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning, and that.
Glad to not be talking college football with you today.
Nothing worse. Nothing worse than I mean, spring practice just started. The last thing we want to do is talk college football.
Yeah.
Don't forget to check out UNCLELOU After Dark, too, Tuesday, Thursday, 10 p.m. College football call-in show. Now, I do have to talk college football on that show, though, BVD. Now, the good news is BVD does live shows like 3 or 4 nights a week, and it never has anything to do with college football. So
that's not altogether true. Every now and then, the words college football are mentioned.
No, yeah. Anyway, what's going on today?
I can't tell about it.
Spring practice started yesterday, so we should know everything we need to know about our teams now.
Well, that's true. Yours didn't start, though, did it?
Yeah.
Aren't you guys like the 17th or something?
No.
Well, that was false advertisement I was given then.
I don't know who told you that bit of information.
Day one of the run to the 2020 National Championship started yesterday in Knoxville.
Well, it started yesterday in a bunch of places. Starting the run to 15-0 is not the problem.
Yeah, I know.
It's
how many times has that actually been done?
15-0?
Yeah.
Twice.
It's kind of amazing.
Well, there's only been like 6 opportunities.
Well, 2 out of 6 is not a very good percentage if you're shooting from the free throw line.
If you're shooting from the
we're not
line,
talking basketball, are we?
No. Maybe next week when we're heading into March Madness, we'll talk some basketball.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Couple of schools that will not be playing in March Madness. Tennessee and Georgia.
I don't know. The NIT is in March, and that makes me pretty mad.
That's true.
So we'll see.
Are you guys going to make them? Are you going to even make the NIT?
I, to be honest, I don't know. I really don't. Maybe not. Maybe not. It's pitiful. I think Georgia. What does Georgia have? 4 SEC wins. I mean, it's pitiful.
I don't know. It's not many.
Yeah, it's bad.
For UNCLELOU purposes, they have one very good win, though.
Yeah, well, they beat Tennessee. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. I mean, they've got several good wins. Listen, if Georgia had enough wins overall to be a bubble team, I think they would get in based on some good wins they have. But it's the weirdest thing. It's okay, you go on the road and beat Memphis, but then you lose to SEC teams that are at or below 500. It's just the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
Very inconsistent.
Weird season for the SEC in basketball.
Yeah, and this was the first. I mean, I had expectations. I mean, I'm no huge college basketball fan, so.
No, we get it.
I mean, you're never going to see me break a TV over college basketball or really even devote that much time to it on this channel or anything. And I don't even pretend to watch every Georgia basketball game. None of that.
Well, that's only because your football team's really good right now. And you haven't been disappointed for the last 12 years and starved for any kind of winning.
Maybe that's part of it, but I mean, I'm just going to be honest. If Georgia was doing really good, I would probably watch more. I mean, I'm just going to be honest. So if I'm a bandwagon fan when it comes to basketball or whatever, that may be the case. I'm just going to be honest.
I get it.
I don't care enough. I don't care enough about the sport of college basketball to really get into Georgia basketball when they're 15-15. I just, I watched a lot of Georgia basketball in November and December. I wanted to see Anthony Edwards. I wanted to see like I said, I had expectations. I thought they were going to make the tournament this year. And Anthony Edwards has been everything I thought he would be, but the team as a whole has just been so disappointing. I just be honest, I just quit watching. I don't care. Now, Georgia could go 0-12 10 years in a row. I'd be out here cussing and screaming every single Saturday because college football is my passion. I just love college football. I don't have that same love for college basketball, so I just soon be honest about it. If Georgia was 25-10 and headed to the NCAA tournament, I'd be watching a lot more Georgia basketball. I'll just be honest. I don't care what anybody says about it.
That makes perfect sense. At least at the very least, you're not one of those dudes that's a big Georgia football fan and a Kentucky basketball fan or basketball fan.
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
You're a fan of the school.
Lance from Jasper's that way. That idiot Florida fan that used to call into Feinbaum used to call into this show and rant and rave. He's a Florida He lives in Tennessee. He's a huge Florida football fan, and he's a Duke basketball fan. I just don't understand. Yeah. I mean, that's just got bandwagon written all over it. And there's another guy I'm friends with on Facebook. He's a Florida football fan. He lives in Kentucky. He's a Florida football fan, but a Kentucky basketball fan. That's just piss poor. That's the same conference.
It's worse to me.
Yeah, that's piss poor.
When it's in conference like that.
Yeah, and then of course you got Diddly Do and the ATL, who's a fan of Georgia and Georgia Tech. Just what a complete nincompoop. What a complete.
I hate to say this. I hate to say this, Lou. I know people like you and me will never understand that under any circumstances. However, consider the source.
Oh yeah, no doubt. And we, of course, we don't have to worry about him hearing this.
That's right.
Because dude, don't even watch you. Okay.
I do what I do. I do what I do.
Tell me to chill out.
And I look good too.
Tell me to chill. 40, man. Nobody tell me to chill. Kids or adults, but especially kids.
Oh, before I forget, do you remember my $2 super chat comment last night?
Yeah.
Did you understand what I was talking about? I literally had no idea that a $2 super chat only allows you 50 characters.
Yeah.
And then, but a $5 super chat allows you 75.
Right. The more the super chat, the more characters you can use, and the longer the super chat stays highlighted. Yeah.
That's YouTube saying, we're thirsty.
Yeah. Anything they can do. You know how they do. You know how they are.
But you got to be grateful. We got to be grateful to YouTube, no matter how much they are ripping the people off.
Yeah.
Because it's them they're ripping off, Lou, not us.
Right.
I think we should write our congressman.
Struggle bus running on 4 flat tires this morning.
Looks like I'm going to have to sponsor the morning show.
That's what you should do. That's what you should do.
Tell people what they got to do.
Oh, just email louandbvd@gmail.com if you want to sponsor the show. It's really easy. Anyone can do it. Maybe you own your own business, whatever. Maybe you have your own YouTube channel, a podcast, a lemonade stand, whatever the case. Maybe you invented some new religion you want to try to promote. People by nature are gullible, so the religion thing would probably work well. That's been proven over history that it does. So, but moving on, that email address was louandbvd@gmail. louandbvd@gmail.com. Did you watch any of Bad Dog's stream last night?
I always try and get on there for just a few minutes, just to give him a like and say hello, just because I love Bad Dog.
I love Bad Dog too. I
guess to answer your question, yes, I did, but okay. I'm not sure where you're going here.
He's a New York Giants football fan, obviously. That's what his channel was started on and based on and all that. And now, unlike me, he is a huge fan of all 3 major sports.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball, basketball, and football. Huge fan. I talk about it all the time. The dude's like an encyclopedia of info. I mean, it's ridiculous the stats he knows, and stuff from 10, 15, 20 years ago, whatever.
He's a very northern sports fan.
Yes, he's a New York Knicks fan, a Yankees fan, and a Giants fan. Makes perfect sense. Lives in New York. That's great. Mm-hmm. Makes perfect sense. So I guess about a year ago, I guess it was now. I don't know if the Lakers were. I guess maybe the Lakers were playing the Knicks. I don't know. And he decided to live stream a play-by-play of the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, obviously you can't show the games on YouTube, but he watches the game. And if you've seen like one of my streams, it's not like that. My live streams during games are just me reacting to the game. I'm watching the game as a fan. When he live streams, he actually does the play-by-play, just like you would hear on the radio or TV, and he's really good at it.
Yes,
But I guess
is.
about a year ago he started, and he did I'm assuming it was a Lakers-Knicks game. I don't know that to be the case because I know he's a Knicks fan. And I guess a lot of people tuned in or whatever. Well, eventually, over the course of the last year, he's got to the point where he streams. He does a live play-by-play now of every Lakers game, not Knicks.
Even has a Laker nickname.
Yeah, his channel name is Bad Dog, or that's what he goes by on YouTube, and he has a hat that says Laker Dog.
Mm-hmm.
He wears that, but he's at least upfront and honest about it. It's not like he's switched teams. I mean, he will straight up say multiple times during the stream, "I'm not a Lakers fan. I'm a Knicks fan. I just like basketball." And I guess I don't know what it is. Anyway, what I'm getting at in a long, drawn-out type of way, I tuned in last night after my show ended. I noticed that he was live streaming the Lakers-Nets game, and the game was being played in L.A., so it was a late finish or whatever, and it was a close game at the end. The Lakers were down by 2 with like 8 seconds to go or whatever the case. It was like 5.5 thousand people watching.
Yeah. He's killing it with
Yeah.
those Lakers streams.
Yeah, and I guess again, I've never been really into basketball outside of for a few years during Michael Jordan's prime. I did watch a lot of basketball. I was a huge Michael Jordan fan, but
Yeah.
like I know here anyway where I live, there's maybe 1 or 2 NBA games on at night. If that, maybe one on, does ESPN still show NBA games? I know TNT does.
I honestly don't know. I'm with you on the NBA stuff.
So I guess what I'm asking, and maybe there's some basketball fans in the comment section, or maybe I don't know. Is it the case that, are there a lot of Lakers fans who are unable to watch the game on TV? Is it not? Is every Lakers game not on TV? I guess is what I'm at. I'm just curious. That's a lot of people to be tuned into a YouTube channel to watch someone do play-by-play of a regular season NBA.
It is. It is, and it's every Lakers game.
Yeah, he does every
like
game.
That.
Yeah.
No, I mean, if you go back and look at his history on his replays of those streams, every one of them, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60,000 views. I mean,
yeah, and that's over time. By the time people maybe rewatch it the next day or something,
but he's always got thousands in there.
Yeah.
Live
Now,
for the
he
Lakers
said
games.
yesterday at the end when it was watching, because it was a close game, it came down to the end. He was at like 4.9 thousand, and he was like, "Come on, let's get it to 5K," and it ended up going over 5K, and he made the comment that was the second time it's been over 5K. But every time I tune in, like you said, there's 2,000-3,000 people watching at least. And I guess there are just a lot more. I guess there's just a lot more people that are. Maybe it's geography for us. I don't know. College football is king down here. Maybe West Coast and other places. Maybe basketball is much bigger. It blew me away that 5.5 thousand people would be watching Bad Dog, a Knicks fan, do play-by-play of a regular season Lakers game. And it wasn't like, it was the Lakers versus the Nets. The Nets are like barely a playoff team in the East. I think they might end up getting the 8th seed, the last playoff seed. So it's not like it was, I don't even know who the 2 best teams are, but so it's not like it was a huge, like, oh my God, everyone's watching this game because it's 2 best teams, or it just blew me away. But I'll say this. I do think it has something to do with the fact that it's the Lakers. I mean, the Lakers are like the Yankees or whatever, the Patriots or whatever. They're or the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, there are Lakers fans in every single city and every single state, So
yeah.
I'm sure that helps some. But I think, but mainly, it's bad. It's just Bad Dog. He has a real talent.
He's great at that, man. And I've told him many times, I don't know what you have to do to do that professionally. but he's so much better than most of the guys you see doing play-by-play for NBA games. I mean, he really is. And
And he
that's not just
just
because we're Bad Dog's friends, you know.
right.
He's legit good.
And you're a huge Tennessee Vols fan. I'm a huge Georgia fan. So it's John Ward, Larry Munson.
Hmm.
Those two guys, I mean, they were homers. So they called every game like it was the national championship game. I mean, if Tennessee scored a touchdown to go up by 35 instead of 28 against Vandy in the fourth quarter, John Ward went nuts. There was no difference between that and the game-winning touchdown in the Natty game. And Larry Munson was the same way. And Bad Dog calls the games that way. Like, he is yelling and screaming, and he's got he's like the Stuart Scott of YouTube. This guy, he's got all these sayings that he does. If a player dunks a certain way, he says this. And anyway, I could care less about NBA basketball. But every single time, I love Bad Dog, though. So I do click on his videos from time to time, even if it's live streaming a basketball game. But every single time I end up clicking on one of those, I end up, like, my intention is just to click on it, say hi, and maybe back out, because like I said, I don't care about NBA basketball.
No, I get it. That's the same here.
And then the next thing I know, I've been watching for 15 minutes.
Yeah, I've noticed, and I've even asked him where he gets some of the sayings that he comes up with. Now, one he uses a lot is bottom, which comes from John Ward. And he uses a lot of different sayings from different famous broadcasters, which everybody does that. I mean, rarely does anyone come up with anything new, to describe an awesome play in any sport. So it has to come from somewhere, and he acknowledges that. That's what I like about him. He doesn't pretend that, he's coming up with all this shit on his own.
Yeah.
And Bad Dog's the man when it comes to play-by-play. That's just all there. If they had an award for best YouTube basketball play-by-play guy, there wouldn't even be any competition.
And that's why I wanted to make sure and say that, I get it that the Lakers are like a popular brand and franchise and all that, but it's not like just anybody could start streaming Lakers games and get the kind of reaction and support and stuff that Bad Dog gets. I mean, he's really tapped into something.
A lot of it is definitely the Lakers thing, because if you watch him do other games,
I know. I know.
The response is,
but
crazy.
Yeah. I totally get that. But still.
Yeah. There's another guy that does a lot of games like that. He's a Toronto fan. Sir Cardinal TV, I think is his name.
I don't think I know
he's
him.
He's really good too. I actually found him through Bad Dog on the 24-hour stream.
Yeah.
And he's really good at the play-by-play stuff too. Plus he's got that real thick he's got a real thick accent. And I think that's got a lot to do with it too.
Yeah.
The accents. People like to hear us Southerners talk sometimes because of our accents.
Yeah, and I'm the same way with Bad Dog. I've always been, I don't know what the word is, intrigued or whatever about the old school sounding like typical New York Italian accent.
Bust your balls.
That kind of balls. Yeah, and like when he does those 24-hour streams and he has his buddy over, and I'm drawing a blank on his name now, but
The Entertainer.
No.
No, not him.
His real life friend that actually comes over to his house during the 24-hour streams. Okay. Shoot, I hate that I can't remember his name because he's a great guy. I talk to him every time he's on with Bad Dog, but anyway, he sounds just like Bad Dog. I mean, same type of accent or whatever, and he can do all the Scarface stuff, all the Godfather stuff, all the Sopranos stuff. I mean, he just sounds just like him when he does it. It's the funniest thing.
Did you see his stream? It's been a long time ago, but when he was talking about all the different movies he owns, and I think he owns every movie ever put on DVD, but he'll tell you he's not a movie buff. That's what's funny.
Yeah. I don't know if I've heard him talk about that.
He's just a man of. He's got a veritable wealth of useless entertainment and other type knowledge.
Yeah.
Dude's great, man. And he was great in the TTC when he was trash talking.
Yeah. Yeah. Celine Driver, thank you for the super chat, sir. He says, I retract nothing. Deal with it. And of course, Ballard's in here retracting every comment he makes again. Gator Zone, thank you for the super chat, sir. He says, lifelong Knicks fan, and I can't watch that. Shh.
Is it because you can't watch the Knicks, or is it? I saw that comment and was a bit curious.
Are the Knicks bad or really bad? I don't have any idea.
I mean, the Knicks are always bad.
Okay.
Yeah, I see that, Tim. I see your comment. But Sir Cardinal also does hockey. Sir Cardinal does a lot of professional sports.
Okay. Oh, and Anthony Z, thank you for the super chat, and he answers my question. He says, there are local sports channels that carry the games that aren't on ESPN or TNT, so kind of like baseball is. Like there's local channels or regional channels that'll carry Braves games here when they're not on ESPN or something like that, so it sounds like that must be similar with. So, like, if you live in the Los Angeles area, probably every game is on TV through local and regional channels, but like we were saying, there's a lot of Lakers fans that live across the country, and unless the game is nationally televised, maybe they don't get it. So Bad Dog must have signed up for whatever the NBA calls their you know how the NFL has Sunday Ticket where you can watch any game you want. The NBA, I'm sure, has something similar to that, and Bad Dog must have that and is able to watch every single.
They definitely have their little every game
League Pass, I think the NBA calls it. League Pass or whatever. We'll talk a little college football this morning, guys, too, since we bored you with 30 minutes of the NBA, and we'll add Ruben T to the call for that. But I found a list of win totals for 2020 out. I guess this is Vegas win totals. You know how this is. You can bet on, like they'll say, okay, the Vegas odds for Tennessee is 8 wins, and so if you have to bet whether you think Tennessee will win more than 8 or less than 8, whatever. I don't know what the win total is for Tennessee, but I found a list of every Power 5 team. So we're going to go through some of the bigger ones there. We'll do that. Let me go get a refill on my coffee. When I come back, we'll add Ruben T, and then we'll go through some win totals. So BBD, can you handle it for a few minutes?
Yeah, I'm sure I can come up with something useless to talk about for a few minutes. Well, I'll just address the folks here in the comments and say, like to talk. And that's what you guys are supposed to do. You're supposed to correspond with each other and talk crap about us when we're off getting coffee and stuff like that. Celine, I don't know, and this is Celine's glitter gator. I don't know why people hate basketball. It's just, I personally don't hate it. It's just that the NBA is too not boring. I don't know. It's just something to me personally that seems fake about it. You know, they don't play any defense, although this year has been a little bit better defensively. They never call traveling. I went to a high school game the other night, playoff game to get to the state championship tournament. There were 6 traveling calls in this game. 6. It takes them 2 seasons to call 6 traveling calls, or walking, or, you know, whatever term you want to use in the NBA. That's one thing I don't care for. And I think a lot of it, too, has got to do with rich, spoiled crybabies, perhaps. Maybe has a little. I'm a Lakers fan. I think I saw somebody in the comments a minute ago mention, maybe that was somebody else, I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm a Lakers fan. I've been a Lakers fan since the Kareem days, and I just could care less now. And even when we had Kobe and Shaq and all those great teams, somewhere along the way, I just lost my interest in it. Same with baseball. A lot of people are getting excited now because baseball's back. You know, baseball was my sport growing up. That was what I was really good at. I loved it. My favorite team kicked ass. St. Louis Cardinals fan. The only team better historically is the Yankees. But now I could give a shit. I really could. And I hate that because baseball's supposed to be America's pastime. I've never asked Lou. I hear Lou's back in the old office there when he gets back on the mic. Are you back yet, Lou? I'm going to ask him who his favorite team is, if he even has one. I'm guessing he probably could give a shit about it. That generally, as college football fans, that's the way we are. College football or nothing for a lot of us. Uh-oh, Jeff Webster already getting bossy this morning. Lou, do you like baseball?
How'd you know I was here?
I'm good at what I do.
Clairvoyant. Do I like
I love it.
baseball? No.
Yeah.
No, I played it
Yeah,
when
that's
I
what
was.
I
I
thought.
played it through high school when I was a kid. But it's I can't stand. I enjoy going to a baseball game once a year, once every couple of years, kind of thing. But I couldn't tell you the last time I watched an entire baseball game on TV.
Yeah. Celine Driver wants to know: do we block for screen names that are political, Lou? This is your channel. That's a Lou question.
What's the name? Did you see it?
I have no idea. No.
I mean, there's that guy,
boy.
the Georgia Conservative show, but I'm not. He's been here forever.
Right.
Probably not, unless it's. I don't know. I would have to see it. It depends if it's.
Are you caught up on super chats?
No. Gator Zone says, like UF basketball, win or lose, just get better. Yeah, I like Georgia basketball. Like I don't, I'm never going to root for another team. I sometimes get jealous of my football fandom is sometimes jealous of my basketball fandom because, like last year, for example, Georgia was terrible. And people would tell me about it all the time, and I literally could not have cared less. But then, when Tennessee doesn't win the SEC tournament again, which they didn't do, I control all the Tennessee fans who were head over heels about basketball last year out of the blue, So it's like the best of both worlds type thing. I control other people, but then when they try to give it back to me, it doesn't affect me because I'm not emotionally invested in it like I am with football.
Right. Well, I can just go ahead and tell you ahead of time, Lou, there's going to be a bunch of Tennessee fans next year out of the blue invested in Tennessee basketball too.
Okay, good.
So
that works out good for me.
Get your gear ready. It's going to be another one of them type years.
Yeah. Michael Gill, thank you for the super chat. He says, here's a topic for debate. Why is it when getting divorced does the man get such a raw deal? Why is it a foregone conclusion that she's going to get the kids? I'll take my answer off the air. Let's get Ruben T on the line and maybe get his thoughts and opinions on that. I agree with the general premise of what he's saying. I think in general that entire system, whether it's divorce or custody or just the whole family court situation, I do believe is heavily tilted towards the female. I don't know whether that's right, wrong, indifferent, or whatever.
I think it's getting better. I do. I think it's getting better. I don't even know if better is the right word to use there, but I don't think it's nearly as heavily. You go back to the 70s, and I don't know if you've seen the movie Kramer versus Kramer. That movie illustrated exactly what he's talking about back in the day. And a great movie. Dustin Hoffman, Meryl Streep. She leaves him with the kid for months at a time, has no contact with him. But when she decides to come back into the picture, and after, I forget how much time, maybe even a year, she comes back into the picture and automatically she gets the kid. After leaving him, cheating on him, abandoning the kid and everything. So it's nowhere near like it was in the 70s, I don't think. Maybe we can default to some of the women.
You know what's kind of funny about that is I think a lot of the reason that is based off of the old-fashioned notion that most women fight to disprove nowadays, that a woman's place is in the home, that kind of thing. And so I think when divorces and custody situations started 500 years ago, whatever, that it was natural based on the misogyny at the time that, of course, the woman was going to get the kids. The guy can't take them to work type of thing. And I think a lot of the whole stereotype thing about a woman, a woman's place is in the home has changed. But I think the court system still sort of leans that direction.
I do too. And plus now, I don't want to steer this conversation totally in the ditch, but now the the ABCDEFGHIJK LBGT community, has a hand in it too, because you have a lot more couples nowadays, gay couples that are parenting kids.
Yeah.
So I think that has had an effect too on the whole system.
Yeah. I mean, in a traditional situation, the mother has to almost be in jail or prison not to get custody of the, like if both the mother and the father are both outstanding citizens, great people, both have great jobs, all that kind of stuff, the mom is going to get the kids every single time.
Yeah.
Other things being equal, the mom's going to get the kids if she wants them. The mom almost has to be, in jail to lose custody. But
how often do you hear about Susie or Sally or Sheila being held in jail for child support?
Well,
in fact, I can't think of a single case, and I'm sure there are cases of it, but where women are, put in jail over child support. And I'm obviously not knocking child support. I think it's, obviously very important.
Ballard, I don't know what it is you think you're doing, sir. But that's unacceptable. And you should be ashamed of yourself.
Retracting messages again.
So, no, that's one he should have retracted, and he didn't. So I'm not even giving you another chance. That account is just gone. So,
wow.
Make another account if you want. That's unacceptable, and you should be embarrassed and ashamed of yourself.
Oh.
That's ridiculous.
Oh, the one that starts with auction.
Now enjoy your ham sandwich that mommy made you today, while you sit at home and pretend to homeschool. Stupid son of a bitch. You fucking dumbass. You're a fucking moron. You're a fucking idiot.
Jeez. Is there any chance that first word was a typo?
No.
I mean, I'm trying to think of any.
No, because think of how it ended.
Reason.
I'm trying to get me one. Come on.
Yeah. Man, damn, Ballard, what's wrong with you?
Your parents have failed you, Ballard.
Wow.
Your parents are probably mostly to blame for that. They're probably terrible human beings, and you probably aren't going to turn out much better. You should really be ashamed of yourself.
Man, that is actually shocking to me. It really is. Damn. Jeez.
See, now that pisses me off. When these 12-year-olds call in and wait on hold for an hour just to scream half the N-word, that rolls off my back, because I don't have any, I don't care anything about those people. But Ballard's been around here a long time. Hell, he was the guest on the show 2 days ago for an hour.
Yeah.
I like Ballard. I until 2 minutes ago. That pisses me off.
You want to tell him what he said? Because apparently a lot of people missed it.
He said something about he's looking for a slave auction because he wants to buy one. Is basically what he said. I don't know why. I don't know what conversation came ahead of that. I can't read all the comments during these live shows. There's too many of them, and I get distracted with whoever I'm talking to. But I happen to look up and see that one. So I don't know what led up to that, and I don't really care. That's unacceptable. You should be embarrassed and ashamed of yourself.
I mean,
it's 2020. That was.
I don't even think they were talking about anything like that in the comments.
Yeah, that's not even one of those things where, and I'm not making excuses for this and saying this is right either, but sometimes you'll see people that are old, 60 or 70, and they'll use a saying or an expression that's not acceptable today, but 40 years ago people said it all the time or something. I'm not saying it's right for people to do that and that age is an excuse, but sometimes you're able to look past that a little bit. But he's 17, 18 years old, so there's no excuse for that. That pisses me off.
Yeah, I'm actually stunned.
Let's get Ruben T on the phone and change the subject because that really pisses me off. All right, hold on just a second. I'm going to add him, okay, BBD?
Okay.
Good morning, Lou and BBD.
Ruben T, what's up, buddy? Welcome to the show.
What's up, BBD and Lou? How y'all doing? Morning.
Yeah, appreciate you taking the time to come on this morning. We'll give you the same treatment we give everybody else. We'll give you however long you want here. You can introduce yourself to those that are listening. I know they recognize your name probably from the comment section, but this is Ruben T. But you can tell them as little or as much as you want to about yourself. I at least tell them what what team you're a fan of, that kind of thing. But you can tell them as little or as much as you want. Go.
Well, Ruben, and I'm from upstate South Carolina, about, I guess, 40 minutes out of Charlotte. My favorite team, well, I have a lot of favorite teams.
Huh?
Because my dad was all over the place. So I lived in Florida, so I like Miami Hurricanes for a little bit. And then luckily I was there when they were actually good in the 80s. And then I had family that went to Clemson, so I pulled for Clemson, of course. And then my stepfather, he went to South Carolina, so I had to pull for South Carolina or he'd get pissed off.
Oh, Lord.
No, he'd get pissed off and make me storm out the room, So, yeah, and then I liked Notre Dame for a while. See, I bounced all over the place. So I had a lot of teams that I liked. But my main team was probably Clemson because my grandmother, she was a Clemson fan, and my uncles were Clemson fans. I have a lot of family that were Clemson alums back in the Danny Ford days. And anybody that thinks Clemson doesn't cheat, they don't know Clemson. Clemson's been cheating as long as I can remember. Okay? So, like Pigskin Pete, all these guys that like Clemson and say, oh, they haven't ever done anything wrong. Well, I'm here to tell you, they have.
Everybody cheats, Ruben. Everybody cheats. It's just a matter of who's good at it and who's not.
Well, no. That's a cop-out, the everybody cheats thing. There's a difference.
It might be a cop-out, but it's the truth. It's just,
but South Carolina getting self-reporting a secondary violation of giving a kid a piece of birthday cake is not the same as a team shooting up 25% of their players with steroids. So it's not fair to do the whole everybody cheats thing because that minimizes what I mean. Ole Miss buying every player they could afford is not the same as Clemson giving recruits cars in 1982. It's just not the same.
Hell, everybody was giving kids cars back then.
Yeah, everybody.
But you're right. I mean, there's definitely different levels of cheating.
I mean, Clemson self-reported a violation where on a recruiting visit they released confetti, and that's against NCAA rules.
Well, see, if you
That's not the
report,
same as shooting half your defense with Osterine.
well, if you report it yourself and you're the school and you go ahead and put self violations on yourself, you keep the NCAA at bay.
Well, sometimes Georgia self-reported the Todd Gurley autograph incident and still got hammered.
I was
So
going
it
to say, I
depends.
think sometimes when you self-report stuff like that, you're maybe covering something bigger up.
That's right, BBD. I think the same way.
Maybe. I mean, it's hard to tell, man, because like I said, we're all cheating in some way or another. And sure, I'm sure there's schools out there that historically and currently are more in depth in their cheating because they have to, like Ole Miss.
And yeah,
Prime
and
example.
if you're flaunting it in people's faces, like, you know, if you're getting drafted and on draft night you give an interview where you thank Ole Miss for all the money they gave you, that's bad. If you're LSU and Odell Beckham is handing out $100 bills to players on the field 5 minutes after the game is over, that's bad. You know, that's not the same as after the game in the locker room or outside the stadium or whatever, a booster slipping the quarterback a $100 bill. I mean, people don't want to hear that, but it's just not the same. You know, if you put it in the NCAA's face, you put them in a corner. They have to do something.
Yeah. And there's totally different levels of cheating too. Like the whole Bruce Pearl thing comes to mind for me as a Tennessee fan. We got so many Tennessee fans that would literally give their left nut to have Bruce Pearl back on campus. No, he's a fucking liar. I mean, the dude straight lied about recognizing his own house. He's a great coach, obviously. You know, I mean, he's a great coach.
I don't know the story about
can't deny it.
Can you
Yeah.
briefly tell the? I don't know that story about his house. Or
There
whatever.
was a picture. All right, I can't remember the kid's name. It was a recruit. I think he ended up at Ohio State, and I guess Pearl had some illegal barbecue or something, which is fucking ridiculous to start with. That a barbecue for players would be illegal, but he had this illegal barbecue, and I'm paraphrasing here. During or after, a picture was taken with Bruce and this recruit in front of his house. When all this shit went down and the NCAA was questioning Pearl about this, they asked him if he recognized the house. And he said no. It was his house. How the hell are you going to not recognize your own house? So, I mean, that's the lying's bad anyway when it comes to this, but that's just stupid lying.
Right. And that's the kind of thing, you know, what do you, like, you're putting the NCAA in a corner there. Like, you can't say you don't recognize your own house and then expect the NCAA to go, well, you know, maybe he didn't.
That's like these people on live PD that get pulled over for speeding. Oh, it wasn't my car. You know, I mean, that wasn't my drink. Some of the stupidity that people come up with to cover their own. Oh, man, that one kills me. I love Bruce Pearl. You know, I thought he was great, and he is still a great coach. He just struggles with the facts, I guess.
Yeah. Speaking of facts, well, no, these aren't facts; these are opinions. I want to get caught up on these super chats, and then I want to pull up some of these projected team win totals, and I'm not going to go through them all. It's got every Power 5 team listed, but I'll hit the highlights, and we'll like, you know, of course, we'll look at Tennessee. We'll see if you agree or disagree, BVD, and all that, and we'll hit some of the top 25 teams, some of the SEC teams, that kind of thing. But let me just run through the rest of these super chats real quick. Michael Gill says that kid jacked up our real discussion. Yeah, we were having an amazing discussion about custody and whatever else. Me and BVD were regaling everyone with tales from the stupid, and Ballard completely jacked it up.
I guess we know where Ballard stands on custody.
Well, he just got disowned by LouTube, so... Michael Gill, thank you for the super chat. He says there's a great documentary on YouTube about the cheating. If anybody wants to look that up. Shane Bentley, thank you for the super chat, sir. He says we're not that. He's talking to Ruben. He says we're not that far apart geographically. I live outside of Charlotte myself. Can't wait to take money out of my child's college fund to buy tickets for Clemson UGA. Hashtag totally worth it. That will be a big one.
There's somebody with their priorities clearly in order.
Yeah. All right. Vegas win totals, early win totals. These will probably change a little bit after spring practice, but right now, here's some win totals, and this starts in the ACC. So again, I'm not going to even mention every single team, but Clemson projected win total 11. So we're going to play the over under game. So over or under? What do you guys say?
Over.
All right. So if you had to bet your last dime, you're picking Clemson to win over 11. Now this is regular season now, so you're picking them to go 12-0.
Yeah.
I'll go over.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with over.
Yeah. Florida State. Before I even say this one, y'all want to guess what Florida State's projected win total is?
8-4. 8-4.
BBD.
Jeez, I'm gonna guess 10-2.
Projected win total 6.5. Over or under?
Ooh, wow.
Over.
Shit.
I would take the over there too. I think that's that seems like a smart play. I don't think Florida State's going to be great, but hard to imagine them winning less than 7 games. We'll see. Let's see who else is on here that's worth talking about. Georgia Tech. 4.
5.
Yeah, 4. They have it at 4.
I'm gonna go over on that too.
Yeah, I'll go over. I'll go with a 5 on that one.
Barely over, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a good number for Georgia Tech. That's hard. That's a hard one. I think they might win 4. If I had to bet, I would probably take the over.
So I don't even have a clue what their schedule is, but you would think, without even knowing what their schedule is, at least in non-con, they should be able to get 2 wins.
Yeah, I think they won 3 games last year, so you would think maybe year 2,
not.
Jeff Collins maybe could get to 2 more. What about Miami?
I'm gonna say 9.
Yeah, 9, 10.
That's my guess would be 8 or 9. They have it at 7.5. That's another one I would take the over on.
Yeah. I think Miami's real close to putting something together down there and getting back to 9 or 10 wins.
I mean, I keep saying the same thing about like Miami and Florida State. Really, are they a top 10 team right now? No, but do you need to be a top 10 team to win 9 or 10 games in the SEC, in the ACC? No, you don't. There's not very many hurdles to climb in the ACC other than Clemson, and I mean they're not jumping that hurdle. But point is, like, you could, the second best team in the ACC last year wasn't even ranked. You know what I mean? The ACC is not good. So it's not like Miami needs to be a great team to win 9 games. I mean, they just need to beat.
They just got to be able to beat Virginia.
Duke and Virginia. And you beat Duke, Virginia, Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech. I mean, you're going to get to 8 or 9 wins. I would take the over there. Now, this is ridiculous. And I haven't looked at this team. This team must have a brutal schedule. I don't know. North Carolina, 6.5. What?
I'm going to take the over there.
Me too. They're the second best team in the ACC.
The quarterback is one of the best quarterbacks in the ACC, apparently.
I don't understand this.
They got a great coach.
They must have, I don't know, maybe they have a really hard non-con. I don't know. Maybe do they draw Notre Dame this year? Because, Notre Dame plays the 5 ACC teams. So I don't know. Maybe they've got like a couple of tough non-cons and Notre Dame and Clemson. I don't know, but 6.5 just seems awfully low for them. Where else are we at? They have Virginia and Virginia Tech both at 8. That's probably about close to right. Let's see who's next here. American Athletic, no. Oh, God, they have every conference. Yeah, I'll be skipping the American Athletic. We're just going to do the Power 5. Okay, here we go. Big 10. Michigan. Let's get a guess on Michigan.
9.
I'm going 10.
Michigan projected win total 8.5.
Yeah, 9.
I think that's
I'm going to
probably
have
pretty
to
close
step
to
away
being
for
right.
just a few minutes, guys. My dog is demanding that he get taken outside.
All right. Ohio State, they got projected win total at 11. Man, that's tough,
I'm going
too.
to say, man, 11 sounds about right because
Me
they might
too.
mess up and lose a game.
Yeah, I mean, the Big Ten is a tough league. I mean, outside of the SEC, I think the Big Ten is definitely the second best conference, and I think they play at Penn State. Then, of course, they got the game with Michigan, which they've owned lately, but anything can happen in those types of games.
I mean, Michigan at some point's bound to got to win one.
Yeah, I definitely would not bet the under, but I don't think I would bet either way on that if it's 11, because I think they may end up 11. And I mean, they could go 12-0. I think they'll be favored in all 12 games. It's so hard to go 12-0. It's hard to put money on it. Even a Clemson or an Alabama or whatever. It's just hard to put money on a team to go 12-0. Penn State, they've
Especially
got
in the
it
Big
9.
Ten.
I might take the over on Penn State. I think they could surprise some people this year. They got them at 9 wins.
I don't think they lost much, so I would say over.
Yeah, I like James Franklin. I think eventually he's going to get Penn State to a playoff. Let's see. On to the Big Ten West. They got Minnesota at 8. I think that's right. I don't know if Minnesota can repeat what they did last year and get back to 10 or 11 wins. I think 8 is probably about right for them. Nebraska, they have at 7. I don't know what Nebraska's going to do this year, but if they don't win more than 7 games, Scott, they're in trouble.
No, Frost is out if they don't win more than that.
Yeah, I mean, last year was very disappointing. I mean, there was no improvement really in either record or just the way they looked on the field. They just didn't look any better year 2 than they did year 1. That's concerning to me if I'm a Nebraska fan.
Well, Nebraska hasn't been the same since Osborne left.
Now, they've got Wisconsin at 9. I would take the over on that. They win 10 games in their sleep every year.
What was Nebraska's?
They had Nebraska at 7.
What'd you guys pick?
That's tough. I mean, I think Scott, I agree with Ruben. They've got to win more games than that now, year 3 and Scott Frost. Year 2 was a huge disappointment. If they can't do something in year 3, that's a bad sign in my mind. I mean, this is
he's on
Adrian
his way out.
Martinez, third-year starter. Dude was a Heisman favorite heading into last season. I don't think he's on any list this year because he was terrible last year, but they better win more than 7.
Those Cornhusker fans must be beside themselves, man. That's a proud program there.
Well, they're still living off Osborne days.
Yeah,
I mean,
no
they expect
doubt.
that.
Yeah, that was a long time ago, though. Big 12, they've got Baylor taking a big step back. They have Baylor 7 wins. I think that's about right. They lost some talent and lost all their coaches, too. What about the grass eater? What about Kansas?
Grass eater.
2? 2 or 3?
They have them at 4. I don't know. I might take the under. I'm not a buyer on Kansas.
I don't see how they can recruit to Kansas.
Yeah, I know.
Who wants to go to Kansas?
But
they can't.
Yeah, their scholarship situation is screwed anyway. They're like at 78 or 79 scholars because the previous coaching staff signed like 10 junior college players for like 3 years in a row. So they're losing more players every year than they're allowed to sign. So it'll be like 4 more years before they're at 85 scholarships again. I'm just not a buyer on Kansas at all.
How long of a leash does he have?
I think he can stay there as long as he wants. I don't think they'll fire him. I mean, they're Kansas.
I mean, it's Les Miles.
There's no expectations to meet. So I think he'll be there as long as he wants to be there. Kansas State 8.5. Now that's one I might take the over on. I like their coaching. I like that Chris Kleiman, whatever his name is that they brought in. I like him. I think Kansas State could surprise some people this year. I would take the over 8.5.
Yeah, over.
They might be the second best team in the Big 12 this year. Now here's one that might surprise you. Oklahoma, and it's not 11, which is what I would assume it would be. It's not 11 or
10?
11.5. It's 10.5. I would probably take the over on 10.5.
Not unless that quarterback doesn't do good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole
That's
question.
the question mark, yeah. And is the defense finally going to have a pulse? I don't know. But
They had a pulse last year, all the way up until LSU got a hold of them. Then they flatlined.
yeah. 10
And you got to take into consideration too, Ruben and Lou. They got one loss automatic going into the season. So.
Oh, that's right, Tennessee. Yeah.
Well, you never know. Sun can shine on a dog's ass every once in a while.
I have heard that that's true.
I'm actually not just because I'm a Tennessee fan, but I'm actually kind of surprised that everybody outside of Tennessee just assumes that that's going to be a 3 or 4 touchdown win for Oklahoma. What am I missing?
I said last night on my show I would take Oklahoma minus 21 right now if anybody wants to bet it.
Wow.
Are they playing at Tennessee?
No,
Norman.
playing in Norman.
Oh, no. I don't know about that then.
We're definitely going to have some kind of wager on that one, Lou.
Mini helmet sounds about right to me.
Some kind of, dude, give me your address and I got you on a mini helmet.
Here's another one that is on my list of possible surprise teams this year. Oklahoma State, they have their win total at 8.
I'd say over.
I might take the over there too. They're a hard team to fit. They're very inconsistent, Oklahoma State. That's their problem. You watch them some weeks, they look good enough to compete with Oklahoma and win 10 games or something, and then the next week they go out and lose to some team you've never heard of or something. But I don't know. I just have a feeling Oklahoma State might put it together this year. And I tell you right now, I mean, I think clearly Oklahoma and Texas people are going to talk about them, but outside of that, I like Oklahoma State and Kansas State in the Big 12 this year to maybe do something. Texas, they have it 8.5.
I'm going to say over.
Me too.
Because they need to.
I think people are sleeping on Texas this year. They haven't done anything in a long time, and then they took the huge step back last year, and people were very disappointed. And there's some whispers about Tom Herman, and maybe he's not as good as advertised, that kind of thing. But they got Sam Ehlinger back, and as much as I don't really like his attitude or whatever you want to call it, he can make some plays. And if he has a season like he had in 2018. They could win 10, 11 games again. I mean,
Texas has got talent.
Yeah. Yeah. Their defense has got to play better. It was weird. Tom Herman's an offensive guy, but his first couple of years there, the defense was lights out. And then it's like, I don't know what I don't know. It hasn't been the same especially last year. But
is it maybe? I mean, first thought might be okay. Now he's starting to. His players are starting to cycle through.
Yeah.
A lot of those coaches like him, they just, for whatever reason, don't put – most of their emphasis is on getting the offensive guys to score a pile of points, and they tend to forget that the defensive side of the ball is pretty damn important. You see that with a lot of coaches like that. It's taken Jeremy Pruitt 3 years to get our defense turned around, so maybe that's sort of the same thing going on out there. I don't know.
The next conference is Conference USA, which we're going to skip, except for I don't know I don't even remember how this started, but somehow there's an unhealthy obsession with a large group of people on my channel with UTEP. I don't know how it started. There's probably 1,000. If I could go to my
UTEP?
I don't know what. I'm sure it started as some sort of a joke or a troll thing, and I just don't remember how it started now, but. You know how you can go to YouTube Studio and search your comments for a certain word? I guarantee you if I go there and search for UTEP, there'll be over 1,000 comments about UTEP. It's just the weirdest thing. But so for those 10 or 15 people that type about UTEP constantly, their win total projection for 2020, 2. So type about it. Okay, on to the next one here. Independence. One of my favorite punching bags, BYU. Sorry for your trouble, BVD. but they're at 6.5.
6.5. Over.
Notre
I'll go
Dame.
7.
Notre Dame at 10. They got to play Clemson. They got to play Michigan. No. They don't play Michigan this year, do they? That was just a 2-year deal, wasn't it? I believe it was. So I don't think they play Michigan this year. I could be wrong, but they do play Clemson. They do play Southern Cal. I'm going to take the under on Notre Dame in 10.
Yeah, under.
Who's their quarterback this year? Is Book back?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with under too.
I will say that I would agree that the most likely record for Notre Dame is probably 10-2, but they have the thing at 10. So if you're going to bet it, you have to do the over/under. So I would probably go under and roll the dice that maybe they lose 3 games. They lost 2 last year, so that's that. Who's next up on here on the list here? The MAC? No. Kent State, 4.5 wins. Shout out Mark Rogers, most famous Kent State alumni that I know. Mountain West, no.
More famous than Nick Saban?
Boise State, 10.5.
Isn't that where didn't Saban go to Kent?
Yeah. Mark Rogers clearly more famous than
That's true. Good point.
than Lou Saban.
True. Much more entertaining too.
Here's what we've been waiting for. Now we get down to serious business. Pac-12.
Oh boy.
Oregon.
Under.
Oh, what? They're at 10. I'm taking over.
Yeah, okay. I thought you were going to say 11.
They're at 10. I'm going to take the over.
Yeah.
Over.
Now
Do
they do
even
play.
have any competition?
Well, they play
out
Ohio
there?
State at home. They play Washington, but Washington's new coaching staff. They lose Jacob Eason. They play Southern Cal. Those are probably their 3 most difficult games. I think they can win. I think they can win 2 of those. If they beat Ohio State, they'll go 12-0.
Very, very likely. Who's Herbert's gone, so
Yeah. They got
that
some.
will be a key determining factor.
They've recruited like crazy at Oregon, though. That Mario Cristobal, I'm still, I don't know enough about the Pac-12, and I don't or whatever to like give him an actual coaching grade. But,
they love him out there,
but
man.
recruiting, he's A+. He's the best recruiter west of the Mississippi.
Our little buddy David loves him.
Guy knows what he's doing. Arizona State, 8. You know what? Give me the over. I'm buying Arizona State this year. I was wrong about what's that fossil? What's that fossil they dug up from ESPN and hired as a head coach there?
Herm Edwards?
Herm Edwards, yeah.
For some reason, I was thinking he was in Arizona.
No, that's Kevin Sumlin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
8.
8
I'll
wins
take
sounds
the
about
over.
right for Arizona State.
Yeah, I would roll the dice. That would be, I would put them like in the same category in the Pac-12 that I was putting Kansas State and Oklahoma State in the Big 12. That's a team like, you're going to have all the favorites from all the divisions, 1 or 2 teams from each division that most people are going to be high on. And then I try to find like another team or 2 that I'm like, well, maybe this is the team that sort of comes out of nowhere this year. Maybe in the Pac-12, maybe that's Arizona State. They've got Southern Cal at 8 wins.
They better win 8 wins or more.
Yeah. I don't know why they kept Clay Helton. They don't know. It was dumb. They should have given Urban Meyer whatever he wanted. All right, SEC time. We'll start with the East. Florida. Any guesses?
At 10?
Yeah, they have the win total at 10.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
I would not. Yeah, push. I wouldn't bet that. I can see Florida going 11-1. I can see them going 10-2. I can see them going 9-3. I mean, they still play LSU. They still play Georgia, Tennessee, South Carolina. Tennessee and South Carolina are not top 10 teams, but you guys know the routine in the SEC. Most teams lose a game they're not supposed to. So I would stay away from that. I think 10-2 is close to right. Georgia, 10.
Over.
Mm.
11.
Gone 11-1 3 years in a row. I definitely wouldn't take the under. There's no way I would take the
I'm
under.
thinking push. I'm thinking 10 wins might be good.
Yeah.
for
No, I
Georgia
think
this year.
over.
I'm a homer, so give me the over for Georgia.
Of course.
Got to play Bama. Got to play Florida. Got to play Tennessee, South Carolina, Virginia, Auburn. Kentucky, 7.
That's about right.
I know, man. They're
Yeah.
nailing these, aren't they? I mean, a lot of these, like, if I didn't even look at this list, I'm like, Kentucky
That's why they're
sounds
Vegas.
about like a 7-win team. So, yeah, this is tough here. They also have Missouri at 7. I'll probably take the under on that.
Yeah, I'll take the under on that one.
I'd be curious who else they play from the West. I know they play Mississippi State on the road. I don't know who
Those are
else
the
they
two
play.
I'm curious to hear, Mississippi and Mississippi State.
South Carolina, 7.
Wow.
Under.
I have
Yeah.
going under on
Way under. Sorry. Sorry, South Carolina. Sorry. I mean, come on. Clemson, LSU, Florida, Georgia. Tennessee beat them by 30 last year. They're not winning 7 games. I'm sorry. It's not happening. 6-6 and make a bowl game is Will Muschamp might be coach of the year. But they're not winning 7 games. It's not happening.
that. 6 wins is a good year.
And I think South Carolina will be a better team in 2020 than they were in 2019. I like the hire of Mike Bobo. I think they've got some pieces on defense, especially. And Will Muschamp, as much as he's a clown head coach, the guy knows what he's doing defensively. They bring Bobo in to turn the offense around. South Carolina's got to get way better play out of the quarterback position than they got out of that Doogie Howser kid the last 3 years or whatever. That's really been – if you look at when South Carolina was really at their peak under Spurrier, yes, they had Clowney and Marcus Lattimore, and those were probably 2 of the greatest players they've ever had. But their quarterbacks played really, really good. Almost like Jake Fromm type of QBs. They weren't immensely talented. You know, maybe they didn't win a ton of games for South Carolina, but they definitely weren't losing any either. Connor Shaw, and then what was the other guy's name?
Steven Garcia.
Steven Garcia. I mean, those, like I said, you know, they're not making Pro Bowls in the NFL, but those were solid SEC quarterbacks for Carolina, you know? And I know they had Steve Spurrier, and that's, you know, he can turn water into wine with that sort of thing, but they got to get way better play out of the quarterback position, and they haven't been able to run the ball since – I think they've been last or next to last in the SEC in rushing every single year since Muschamp's been at South Carolina, and you're just not going to – you're not winning 10-plus games. I know it's a passing – everyone wants to throw the ball around, myself included. You still need to be able to run the ball when you have to if you want to get 10, 11 wins in this league, and they've just
that's
been
never
terrible.
going to change.
Right. And you look at their schedule, man. First of all, they play Texas A&M. Not to say Texas A&M is great, but who's better, Jimbo Fisher or Will Muschamp? Who do you trust there? And Texas A&M has Kellen Mond coming back. Now, he's, again, not great, but he's going to be the most experienced quarterback in the SEC. Dude started a ton of games. He can run around, extend plays. They've beat South Carolina every single year since joining the SEC. So Texas A&M, Clemson, Georgia, Florida. I mean, that's 4 or 5 losses right there, and they're not running they would have to run the table against every other team to get to 7 wins. That's not they're not going to beat Tennessee and Kentucky and Mizzou and Vandy. You know what I mean? They're going to lose one of those, at least. They're not getting to 7 wins. I'm sorry, they're not.
Yeah, there's no way.
Now they have Tennessee at 7.5. I would take the over.
Yeah.
Not by much. I think Tennessee goes 8-4. Either way, even if Tennessee beats one of those big 4 that's on the schedule, I still think they go 8-4. Now they could end up going 9-3 if that happens, but you know, I think the most likely scenario for Tennessee is that they win the games they're supposed to win, and they lose the games they're supposed to lose this year, which would be an improvement.
That's the common thought.
And I hope Tennessee fans don't get upset with Jeremy Pruitt if they end up 8-4 and the 4 losses are to those 4 teams, because that would be a big improvement over last year. Maybe not record-wise.
It's a upward trajectory if they go 8-4.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Okay, it's only one more win, but the losses to Georgia State and BYU last year, you got to avoid that this year. I mean, I know Tennessee's a proud program, like you mentioned about Nebraska, and you want to start beating some of these teams. But if Tennessee can go 8-4 and their only 4 losses are against top 10 teams, I mean, that's not the end of the world. That's something to build on, especially, if Tennessee can keep it competitive in the second half in some of those games. I mean, you played Alabama close. Was it this last year or the year before? You played Alabama close in the first half. Played Georgia close.
This past year.
Yeah, played Georgia close in the first half a couple of times, and it got away from you in the second half. But but I would take the over on Tennessee at 7.5.
Yeah, if it's not over, then I mean, I'm not going to say Pruitt gets on the hot seat, but to a lot of Tennessee fans, he will, just because people are so impatient nowadays.
Yeah. Alabama,
8 wins.
Alabama, of course, they have it 11. I wouldn't bet.
11's right.
I'm going under.
Oh.
I'm going 10.
Look at that hot
wins.
take. BVD with the hot take in the morning on the Uncle Lou and BVD show.
I mean, that's 2 losses. That's not unlikely.
Where's the 2 losses coming from?
Well, Auburn's 1, just because that's always a possibility, and LSU.
LSU lost 16 players to the NFL.
I don't care.
And coaches.
Alabama loses 16 players.
It's still
every year.
LSU. They lose them.
That's way too much to lose. They lost.
I don't know, man.
This is
way
great.
too much.
BVD,
huge
please make a video, BVD, today if you can. And just title the video, Alabama's going 10-2 this year. Just title it that. And
that's all it would take.
And do like a 5-minute video on why Alabama's losing 2 games. And remind them that they've lost 2 of 3 to the barn. So that's why. That's one of the reasons why. So
triggered.
Please do that. They've got Arkansas head coach Sam Pittman, 4 wins. I'm gonna take the under.
Yeah.
They have no talent. Sam Pittman's
nothing
never been
to
a
see
head
there.
Coach. I don't know. It's gonna be a rough road for Arkansas for a while, I think. Now here's one. Damn, Auburn. This surprised me here.
What, 9?
They have them at 8.
Oh.
Look, you guys, let's step back just for a moment to Alabama.
Okay. Go ahead.
Alabama starts the year with USC. Okay, yeah, it's not the 70s or 80s USC, but still, there's always a chance. Then what happens?
Georgia comes knocking.
Got about them. You're not going to tell me that it's not at least possible that Georgia could beat Alabama.
Shit, of course it's possible.
Some might even say Georgia's far more talented than Alabama.
Woo!
And then the other 2 I mentioned, plus Texas A&M's getting better. Look, damn it, this Alabama thing can't last forever. It just can't.
It ends this year, doesn't it, BVD? They're losing 2 games.
That's what I'm screaming.
Yeah.
By God, 3 losses.
I can't wait to see
Bama's
that
going
video.
9-3 this year.
I've done said it. Video. All right, Auburn at 8. Man, I love to clown Gus Malzahn. Are they going to lose 4 games? And I think they play nobody in the non-con this year. And they've been playing good non-con schedules lately. Played Clemson a couple of times. But I don't think they play anybody of note in the non-con this year. Now, they do play, of course, Alabama, Georgia, LSU. But I don't know. 8-4. I might take the over. Bo Nix year 2.
I'd go 9.
I might take the over. Go 9-3 on that. What do you think, BVD? I mean, they're beating Alabama, but are there 3 other losses?
Auburn's winning the West this year.
Oh, he's taking the over, ladies and gentlemen. Man, I can't wait to see this video.
I'm taking the over.
Can't wait to see that video you make. They got LSU at 10 wins. LSU at 10 wins. They got to play Texas. Yeah, they got to play Texas, Alabama, at Florida, at Auburn. I would take the under.
Yeah, I'm going under with one of those wins being over Bama.
Yeah, clearly, of course.
Where is that game this year? It's in LSU, isn't it?
Yes.
No, it is.
Alabama plays
right.
at LSU. Yeah, LSU has to play at Florida and at Auburn. Mississippi State.
More cowbell.
7 wins is what they have here.
I'm going under.
8. I'm going to go over.
At Ole Miss, home against Missouri, at NC State in the non-con. You know what? That's early in the season. I think that's week 2, actually, that at NC State game. If they beat NC State, I'll say over, 8-4. If they can't even beat NC State, shit, 6-6, maybe 5-7. Because if you can't beat NC State, that equals a lot of L's in the SEC.
I think the struggle bus is not only parked in morning show's parking lot. It might be pulling up to Starkville, too, for a year or 2.
You might be right. Speaking of struggle bus, Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin.
Oh, 12-0. Mark it down. Lane Kiffin, greatest coach ever.
They have it at 6.5.
Jeez.
I'm going to go over.
Definitely can't say push on that one.
I like their QB. I think Lane Kiffin can do something with him.
Yeah,
we'll
that
see.
is a fact.
Plumlee or whatever his name is, dude had 400 yards rushing against LSU last year. So we'll see about that. So who do you? And this is just sort of an interesting side debate, but whose future is brighter? Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin or Mississippi State with Mike Leach?
That's almost. I mean, you might as well say whose future is darkest.
Wait, for now it would be Mike Leach in the beginning, but later on, once Kiffin gets recruiting classes in, it'll be Ole Miss.
Well, you know, the doggies are going to be scoring points. May take them a couple years.
What would Florida fan do? How many Florida fans would commit suicide if Mike Leach wins the West this year at Mississippi State or next year or any time ever?
For any year.
What would Florida fans say then?
Bring back what's his face? Bring back Sharkle Wayne.
Yeah.
They would have a conniption in Florida.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah.
Hey, McElwain won a couple of divisions, didn't he?
Yeah, but that was at Florida. You can't win a division at Mississippi State, according to Florida
that's
fans.
what I'm saying, though. I mean, they should already be pissed.
Oh, I know. McElwain won the division 66% of the time. He won it 2 out of 3 years. You know, he won it his first 2 years. His third year, he didn't win it, so they fired him. They bring in Mullen. He goes 0 for 2, and they love this guy.
Yep.
Weird.
Yeah, well,
Mullen don't even like Shark Week.
Now they have Texas A&M at 9, and this is interesting to me because Texas A&M has. It seems like they're predicted to win 9 games every single year, and it seems like they go 7-5 every single year.
Yeah, the Jimbo bus stays packed, don't it?
Yeah, like I know they got Kellen Mond coming back. They recruit well too. I don't know.
I
Texas
say that's
A&M,
about right. 9 wins.
Yeah, and I think Texas A&M's got to. They need to be better than what they've been, and I'm sort of guilty of this too when it comes to Texas A&M. I say, well, they were 7-5, but look at who they lost to. Like last year, they lost to Georgia, Clemson, Auburn, Alabama, and LSU. Okay, so they lost to 5 top 15 teams. Okay, great. But the point is, eventually, guess what? You have to beat those, you have to beat top 15 teams if you want to be considered a great team. Like, that's great that you only lost to top 15 teams, but, like, a lot of people actually beat top 15 teams. So you got to start doing that at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Florida, they haven't won the division under Mullen, but they've got some big wins. Where is Texas A&M's big win since they had that 1 year with Manziel, but outside of that, where is one big win? Like, where's one game where Texas A&M won and you went, oh my God, I can't believe they won that game? The overtime game against LSU, that's that was the same year LSU lost to Troy. So, what big win has Texas A&M had other than that 1 year with Manziel since joining the SEC? Where's the game you can point to at Texas A&M and go, that was a good win?
Jimbo has no big win since he's been there. That was a Sumlin when Manziel was there.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying Texas A&M in general. Every year, I look at this list and it tells me Texas A&M is going to win 9 or 10 games, and then they go 7-5. Eventually they got to win some of these games against ranked teams. I mean, that excuse is getting old. Oh yeah, we lost 5 games, but look who we lost to. Well, breaking news: you play those 5 teams every single damn year, and they're in the top 15 every single damn year. So unless you're happy going 7-5, it's time to start winning some of those games.
Yeah, eventually you got to step up.
Yeah. I mean, they're paying Jimbo Fisher a king's ransom. You don't pay somebody that kind of money and then say, well, it's fine. Yeah, you lost 5 games, but they were all ranked. You got to win some of these. And same thing with Kevin Sumlin. Same thing outside of that 1 year with Manziel. Since Texas A&M joined the SEC, it's been the same story every year. Too much yell practice, not enough football practice.
Mm-hmm. They got their yelling in the wrong place out there.
I mean, those uniforms are pressed. Those
redirect their yelling.
Whites, whatever they are, these things are pressed and good to go. Shoes are shiny, but you got to win some of these games.
Well, they're the top recruiting team in that state, and that's the truth. I mean, Jimbo recruits well.
Yeah.
You got talent.
Sumlin recruited pretty well. He just couldn't win no damn games. Anyway, that wraps it up for the Power 5 win totals. Some of those were interesting.
Oh, wait. Did I miss Vandy?
I skipped over it. I think it was 4.5.
Okay. I'm going under.
Yeah, they're headed in the wrong direction, I'm afraid.
What you talking about, man? They got Derek Mason. He just built different.
Yeah. 1219. Derek Mason 1219. I thought a lot. There was only a couple on that list that I looked at and I went, "Now that looks wrong." I thought overall the list was pretty good. A lot of them.
Vegas is pretty spot on.
Yeah, they're not in the business of losing money. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
No.
Wish my last name was Vegas. But mine's more like a loss.
Well, that's not necessarily true. You ran up quite a tab in a positive direction on BetNow.eu.
Now.
Yeah, you sure did.
Too bad I don't get to pocket any of that.
Did you ever find out about that?
I mean, it is what it is. I mean,
that's true. It generally is.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess in this case it was what it was.
Yeah. And it never was what you wanted it to be.
Yeah, it was a big consolation victory.
Oh, good. Somebody from Bet Now come over to your house and pat you on the back.
No, they emailed me a pat on the back
Okay, good.
and a participation trophy.
They gave you an e-hug, a virtual hug.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's great. That was nice of
Yeah.
them. Ruben, what else is on your mind this morning? Anything?
Nothing much. I mean, guy that called in earlier, super chatted in earlier about the whole why is the system worked out in favor of the woman instead of the man on child support. I have big opinions on that one.
Uh-oh.
No, I mean the system is set up for back in the 70s.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
mean, it is. It's
Yeah.
set up for back then. I mean, because I come from what we call a broken home, and my dad left when I was 2, and he jumped state line just not to pay child support.
Hmm.
And see, my mom, she went and filed because from the state of South Carolina, which we were in, he went to North Carolina, and my mom filed back in the 80s. Well, until the laws changed, and I think they didn't change until the 90s or maybe 2000s, she couldn't get nothing out of him. And if the guy doesn't file for if he don't file for his taxes, they can't find him. Well, that's what happened with my father anyway. And then one day he decided to get legit, and he filed for his taxes, and then my mom was going to get back all the money he owed. Well, needless to say, that didn't work out too well. And because I was working for him at the time, and now this is just the type of men that they are dealing with back then, and this is a small number of men out there that probably do this, or a large number. I don't know the statistics, but I was working for my father at the time, and he had called me and said, "Son, they're gonna take all my money, blah blah blah, and all this." And I told my mom, I was like, they're gonna give you back all the child support money that you filed for, but he's gonna fire me because I was working for my father at the time. He said he's gonna fire me if we don't sign this money back over.
Oh,
So
God.
we signed the money back over, because I had a good job with him. We were in construction, right? And he fired me a week later after we signed the money back to him.
Damn. This man got fired by his dad.
Yeah, it's a trip, and I've got fired from him several times, but that was when the straw that broke the camel's back,
Yeah.
But that's the type of guys that the system was dealing with back then. Now, nowadays, there's a lot of single fathers out there to get a raw deal, and I know a lot of them to get a raw deal.
Yeah.
And they're just doing the best they can. Like a guy not too far from here, he got put in jail because he was back on his child support, but he can't make money because he's in jail.
Yeah.
How's he gonna make money? I don't understand that.
One of the last times I was in jail, there was a dude in there. I don't know the guy, don't know his whole story. I just know he had been in jail for like 40 some days awaiting a trial date for child support. Meanwhile, all this time, the child support's still mounting up and piling up.
Yeah.
So they screw with a lot of these people, put them in jail, don't give them a court date, and if you don't have a lawyer worth of shit, you just might be screwed. I to this day don't know what happened with that guy, but when I was in there 40 some days, and when I got out, he was still in there and still didn't have a trial date.
Yeah.
And for all I know, he may still be sitting in the Washington County jail.
That's a strong possibility there. But I mean, they're really strict about that stuff down here in South Carolina. Like some of the judges down here are they give the guy a raw deal. I mean, really, they break them off something fierce down here.
Yeah. You mentioned y'all were in construction. Isn't there a guy BBD hangs out in your comment section that's in construction? What's his name?
Yeah.
Uh,
Outstanding.
Yeah. I think he's a foreign national, I think.
He's a foreign national.
You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
The name coming to mind is Armando Gutierrez.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
But okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's always in there talking about he built 40 houses today or something. And every day, it doesn't matter what day it is. It doesn't matter what day it is. Like whatever day you're streaming, like today's Wednesday. Like I guarantee you, he'll be in there tonight saying.
Guarantee it.
He'll be in there tonight going, "Great news! It's Taco Wednesday."
Yeah, and he does all this. He's an amazing guy, actually. He does all this house building while he's picking beans, acres at a time, and climbing back and forth over the wall. Dude's amazing.
Yeah, he's always making comments about his ladder and how much better his ladder is than a wall.
One of my favorite non-trolls.
Right, me too. Oh, you got a couple other foreign nationals in there lately too. About this coronavirus.
Oh yeah. Something serious.
BVD?
They're buying up all the toilet paper.
BVD, what are the names of those two coronavirus trolls you got in your comment section?
In one of them, like Yin Wan Lang or something.
Something like that.
You got one Shang Zhu or something like that.
Yeah.
Told you one of them gave you a super chat and then got mad when you didn't read it and kept calling you disrespectful.
Yeah, I'm still calling
you
DS
so
on that
disrespectful. You got to do better about reading those super chats, my man. Speaking of which, Celine Driver says Moose Dump needs to go 0-12. I hate him. He's talking about Will Muschamp. He hates Will Muschamp with a passion. He's a Florida fan, so he has good reason to hate him. Slim Shady, thank you for the super chat. He says, I know Kansas is Kansas, but I'm old enough to remember when Kansas was the number one ranked team in the greatest season ever in 2007. I remember that, too. That was a crazy year for Kansas, and they had
Aqib Talib.
Aqib Talib, yeah. And I can't remember who their quarterback was that was really good, too. Shoot, I'm drawing a blank on his name. But, yeah, that was that would have been the year to be a Kansas fan. And that would have been pretty much the only year.
Right.
Michael Gill, thank you for the super chat, sir. He says, for me, I don't have an issue at all paying the child support. My problem is if she cheats, then wants a divorce, then the man is absolutely screwed. Yeah, I don't have a problem with child. I mean, the thing is, no matter what the mother does, the kids still need to eat and still need clothes and still need shoes. So I don't necessarily have a problem with child support in general. I have some issues with the way it's handled sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't really know, like the not paying child support thing. I don't know what the answer to that is. Clearly, if you throw somebody in jail, they can't earn money to pay child support. That's obvious. But so I don't know what the other alternative would be. I don't know. So I don't know what the answer is to that situation. If you truly have just a deadbeat dad who has money, but is just refusing to pay, I don't know what you would do. I don't know what the right answer to that is. I'm not smart enough to figure that out. I don't think anyone has figured it out. That's why they throw him in jail.
That's when you garnish any pay
that's
he
an
might have.
option.
Yeah, but if you're self-employed, there's nothing to garnish because they get a lot of the money under the table, especially when you work in construction.
Yeah.
You're getting money, basically cash, and then you don't report it.
If they got a bank account with money in it, you can get your hands on it. The government can get their hands on it.
Yeah, but they have to go through so much red tape and paperwork and all this stuff like that.
The government don't. Not when it comes to getting in somebody's bank account. My ex-wife will tell you that.
And then you run into some women. You run into some women who don't never even file for child support, and I don't understand that at all.
Well, shit. I guess that would be a case by case thing where maybe she knows, dude can't pay it. So what's the point of having him put in jail? I think some states now, regardless of what the filing divorce party claims, child support is an automatic thing. I'm not sure which ones.
I know some people might not know this. I don't talk about it all the time, but I have mentioned it more than once. But me and Mrs. Lou were married in 2005, and we got divorced, and then back together 2 or 3 years later. But I was paying $900 a month child support, so I don't have a lot of patience for people who don't pay.
Really, yeah. If a man's making that kind of money, or woman, whoever, is getting forced to pay child support.
I'll tell you the issue I had. Here's the issue I had with it. When we got divorced and we were going through that and all that and whatever, the way that they determine the amount of child support that you owe is based off of a lot of different things. But one huge thing that it's based off of is your previous year's tax return. So like they look at your tax return and they say, okay, he's making this much money, and that's part of what they use to determine what you should pay. Well, I had lost this was in, I think it was it 2009 or 2010 when we got divorced? Anyway, you remember we had that recession in 08 and 09, and I had got laid off. So the job that I had when I was going through the divorce was not the job I had the previous year, which was the tax return that the court had. They didn't care. I was making about half. I was making less than half. At the time I went through my divorce, I was making less than half of what I was making, of what my previous year's tax return showed. But they didn't want to hear any of that. It didn't matter. The previous year's tax return said you make this much money, this is what you're paying a month. And that was just it. And but anyway, I don't want to get into all that. My blood pressure get up again. Man, I hated my wife's divorce lawyer too. Oh my God.
This is a topic you could dedicate a whole show to.
I remember like 2 or 3 years after we got divorced, I was working for AT&T at the time, and her divorce lawyer came into the store. I went in the back, and I told the boss, I said, I can't go out there. I'll lose my job. I can't be in the same room with her. I'll lose my job. I couldn't stand that lady. Anyway, moving on. Slim Shady, thank you for the super chat, sir. He says, my wife works for the child support office. A big reason women mostly get child support is because when women file for welfare, a case is automatically opened for child support. I guess that kind of gets to what I was asking, how some people don't ever file. So I guess if a woman never files for child support, but then they go to get welfare, the child support case is automatically opened. Which makes sense. If the state is going to be helping to support the kids, they want to make sure the dad is doing what he's supposed to be doing too. So that kind of makes sense. Michael Gill says, I've got to get an alias. Yeah, most people in here have multiple aliases, to be honest. There's 104 people watching right now. That equates to about 11 actual people.
Yeah.
A lot of these people have 10 and 15 accounts in there. But anyway, I guess we got to wrap it up, BVD. BVD, we tried to give away 3 coffee cups the other day. Guess how many of the 3 winners emailed me about their coffee cup?
I'm going to go with the over-under being 0.
0. Now, one of the winners was Tiger Cat, and I already have her address on account of me going over to her house a bunch of times. So I'll send her hers. But the other 2 I never heard from. So.
Well, maybe you should remind him the email address.
Yeah, the email address is lewandbvd@gmail.com. And I wrote the winners' names down. It was Jason Sturkey and Andy Russell. So if you want your coffee cup, send an email. I'm a pretty smart guy. And I did used to work at the fair guessing people's age, height, and weight, but I cannot look at your name in the comment section and guess your address. So you do have to email that to me. So that's what that is. But Ruben, you came on the UNCLELOU and BVD morning show, and you survived.
Yeah, it was outstanding.
Yeah. Now this is the portion of the show where BVD grades your performance on a scale of 1 to 10. What do you say, BVD?
Well, we got to be careful now after this whole Ballard thing. I'm gonna have to give you a 9.5, Ruben. Just we're gonna reserve that half a point for any future retarded statements you may or may not make in the comment section.
Yeah. Don't show up here on Friday and make a bunch of racist comments in the comment section, Ruben.
Well, the Ballard thing was very shocking.
Very shocking. Yeah, I've always liked him, and I've never seen him do anything like that before.
Even remotely. Like
yeah.
that.
He pulled the fine bomb move the other day, which was outstanding, I thought. And then today you come...
Right. And here's the... And I mean... It's one thing to make a joke and then you're like, like that was in poor taste and maybe you just delete a comment. That was just totally out of bounds what he said. There's no excuse for that. So.
Wait, did you think that this is the whole deal with the message retracted stuff? Maybe he's retracting messages that are...
No.
No,
because he always leaves them up long enough for people to see them. I usually see I don't see all the messages here, but like on BVD's stream or whatever, when I'm paying better attention to the comment section, I've never seen him say anything like that at all. So I don't know what got into him this morning or whatever. And
I'm still trying to think if there's any possible way. I'm trying to give him some sort of benefit of some sort of doubt on that word at the beginning.
Yeah.
Being a typo, but I can't think of it. It's like you said, the way he finished it. I'm ready. What was it? I'm ready to get me one or something like that.
No, the grammar was too correct on it.
Damn.
Well, hopefully he'll show up on your stream tonight, BVD, and maybe attempt to explain himself.
That's what I'm hoping. I'm going to give him that opportunity.
Yeah. And when is your stream, BVD?
8 o'clock Eastern every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday for now.
Yeah. Make sure you tune in to the BVD streams. If you don't want to
be one of the cool guys, then you won't come. But, in order to make yourself one of the really super cool people, all you got to do is show up and
have
some fun.
Yeah. I'll be there for as much of the show as I can. So you guys should tune in too. Ruben, we're going to let you go. You did a great job this morning, sir. Hopefully we'll have you on again sometime in the future if you're able to fit it into your super busy schedule, which hopefully you can. But seriously, we do appreciate you coming on.
All right. Thank you much. And we'll see y'all.
Good talking to you.
Yeah, good talking to you.
All right, Ruben. Take it easy, buddy. Ruben T. You guys know him from the comments section. Now you know, hopefully, a little bit more about him. You at least know what his voice sounds like, if nothing else. So, yeah, we love having you guys and girls from the comment section on the show. We've had a bunch of you on. There's plans to have a bunch more of you on. And if you want to be on, just send us an email, louandbvd@gmail.com. We'll get you scheduled to come on the show. It's some people are nervous to do it. It's no different than a phone. I mean, it's just like talking. It's literally no different. You're not going to be on video or anything like that. It's just a phone call. There's no reason to be nervous. So if it's something you think you might be interested in, shoot us an email, and we'll get you scheduled. Any last words today, BVD?
Well, I would just say last words, but hey, I hope everybody has a great Wednesday. See you guys tonight. Thanks as per usual for tuning in to this amazing, wonderful, enlightening, and educational morning show. And we'll see you tonight, and we'll see you Friday morning right back here.
That's right. We'll be back Friday morning at 8 a.m. Thank you guys for tuning in this morning. Another great show, great comment section for the most part. And appreciate all the support you guys give to this show. Celine Driver, thank you for the super chat this morning, sir. And Gator Zone, Anthony Z, Michael Gill with several super chats this morning. Thank you, sir. Shane Bentley, Slim Shady, thank you, sir. Celine Driver. Really appreciate you guys supporting the show through the super chat. Everybody in the comment section that hung out this morning, it was great to see y'all in here. A lot of familiar names: Melissa May, Celine Driver, Alan V, LSU, Tiger Cat, Blake West Music, Mr. MVP, SEC Dog, Bob DeBarner, Jesse Sullivan, Snake Spence.
All the usual suspects.
Yeah, Dago, Richard Holton, The Truth. I think he got timed out, but Fat Piece of Shit was here, which is great. Jordan Bowman. Isn't he related to the fat-headed fucker, BVD?
I think they're first cousins.
Yeah, I think Fat Piece of Shit is first cousin with fat-headed fucker on their mother's side. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, appreciate all of y'all tuning in this morning. I had a great time as usual. Can't wait to do it again on Friday, and we'll see y'all then. Enjoy your Wednesday, and I'll see you tonight on BBD's stream at 8 p.m. Thank you.
See you.
imagination.